Well, this is day one of our official tour of Dartmoor. And although I had a little walk this morning around the holiday cottage and did a little report there, this is our proper put your foot on the moors on a very windy day, changeable day. 1 minute sunny, 1 minute darkened clouds full of rain. Harriet's with me. Hello, Harriet.
Hello, Richard.
It's exciting, isn't it?
Yes.
We are actually on Dartmoor. It's taken a long time for this holiday and recce of our trip to arrive, but it has arrived and here we are.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think I'm still struggling to think what we're actually here at.
Oh.
But we're in a great location because we're right on where we're staying, right on the edge of Dartmoor, in between the north and the south coast, on the edge of Cornwall, so we've got lots of places to go and see.
And we're walking up towards a tor now. We parked our car. We've sort of, today really is very much about what's it like. Let's discover what the moor is, find out the perils.
There are the ponies.
There are the ponies.
The famous Dartmoor ponies.
And they're sort of ahead of us. And the car park, there are obviously hundreds of car parks around where you can park your car. And of course it's a Sunday, so the world and his brother is out, unfortunately. And there's one tour which are these sort of high points of the hills with a outcropping of granite rock. One's up ahead of us called Cox Tor. We're not going to go there because 90% of the people, it seems, from the car park.
Up there.
No, I'm planning to go to these tours over there.
You're boss today.
I am boss. And one is Little Miss Tor, I think, and one is Great Miss Tor or something like that. I've got the map and I can verify that, but the main thing is to try and get away from people. That's one of my main objectives of coming here.
Do you want me to go as well?
No. You're allowed to stay here.
Thank you.
But we're right on the sort of eastern edge, in the middle really, near Tavistock. And we can see Tavistock, the granite market town of Tavistock, home of Francis Drake, Sir Francis Drake, of course.
I'm looking forward to seeing that.
And we
one day.
Yes, and it's a stone's throw. That's the nice thing. It's a stone's throw, and there's a place called Chagford that you want to go and see.
Chagford.
Yes.
So sounds like you said something else.
Not shag.
No.
Chag. Which I believe you can go there for a quick shag. If you so wish, Harriet. I don't know what your plans are in that direction. But anyway, we are up here. And if you turn around, Harriet, just for a second, as we're sort of on one of these pathways over this very barren moor, which we'll explain and describe to you, you can see all around us these hillocks.
Yes.
With the tors of the outcrops of rocks. It is quite awe-inspiring. And the weather, as you look round from one part to another, you've got dark clouds behind us, you've got mist into the far distance, probably sea mist, and you can see the mist, and now I can feel rain. Just a little drop of water.
There's been a lot of rain already this morning.
And yet we were basking in sunshine.
At breakfast.
Yeah. And we can see Tavistock is basking in sunshine at this moment.
Oh gosh, yes, it is a bit grim ahead.
So, describe what you can see in terms of the moors here.
We've got bracken, lots of bracken.
And it's quite low level, isn't it? Very low, and it's gone brown.
Yes, very springy. We've got some gorse.
Which is flowering with the lovely yellow flower on the gorse at the moment.
We haven't got the heather that you get on the Longmynd in Shropshire, where we often walk, of course.
No, and
lots of ponies.
Yes, there's loads of these ponies. Now, let me tell you something about the ponies, because I was reading about the ponies. A lot of people think that they are wild, but actually they're not wild at all.
I thought they were wild.
No, that's a fallacy. I can tell you that for nothing.
Somebody owns them?
They are all owned by lots of different people.
Oh, right.
And something like once a month or every 3 months, I forget what the duration is, they are rounded up and put into a pound, and they have all got identification numbers on them.
But I think in terms of wild, that they're not broken in to ride. I think that's what a lot of people mean by wild.
Yes, I mean they are led out here and left out here to their own devices. So from that aspect, but they're not just But I found it, what interested me was that they're owned by numerous people.
Yes.
Not by a big farmer,
Yeah,
horse
yeah,
farm
yeah.
or something.
So not like one farmer who's got all his sheep here, for instance.
No, exactly. Now, my plan, first of all, is to bypass, as I said, the Cox tour, and detour.
There we go.
Now, you can kind of walk anywhere on these moors, but they've obviously laid out some paths.
Very wet underfoot, isn't it?
Yes. And these sort of mosses and these bogs that you can disappear into. But in theory you can walk anywhere, apparently, from what I've read. Obviously sticking to sort of semi-paths is a good idea, because you can suddenly, well, you can lose your footing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, you know, I think it's very easy to get lost.
Yes.
If you just carry on walking with no sense of where you're
you've got a
going.
new toy, though.
I have a compass. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Yes. There's plenty of people out there walking their dogs, and they can see that they can come up from Tavistock or in the local villages and just nip up here. Or maybe they've taken their dogs on walking holidays.
Yes.
Who knows?
Who knows?
I mean, it's the perfect place, I suppose,
Yes.
to go on a walking holiday.
I expect Tavistock's where lots of people are based, I guess.
Yes, particularly
Explore
on
the
a
area.
Sunday. I mean, now suddenly the sun is out. You know, this
It's
is
lovely.
how the weather can change, and it suddenly becomes lovely and warm. I've only got 2 layers on, and of course I'm walking in what is a big no-no on Dartmoor, apparently, and for a lot of walkers all over the world, jeans.
I know, but you bought some new trousers for walking in, didn't you?
I bought some army surpluses,
Yes.
which I need to wash them, really, because they've got a horrible sheen on them. I don't like that sheen. But
Mr. Sheen.
these trousers are baggy ones, as opposed to tight jeans, well, sort of tighter jeans, or more better fitted jeans. So I quite like that, because you know, if they get wet, then at least they'll flap about and dry a little bit better.
Unlike me, I've got tight jeans on.
Ah, yes, here's a bit of a boggy bit. So we're going to carry on walking, and we'll talk to you, hopefully, when we've climbed up this slight incline to Little Mistor. I think that's what it's called. Well, we're just clambering up towards one of the tours, and to be honest with you, till I look at the map, I have no idea which one it is. I think it's the one that looks across from Cox's tour, which could be Great Staple Tour. In fact, as I was reading and working out where we were going this morning, but once you get on the moor, I'm not saying we're disorientated at all, but if you don't know the area, one tour looks very much like another.
Yeah.
We've walked some distance from the car park. Fortunately, we can still see it to our south, and being at the moment I still feel a bit nerdy. I've been taking compass readings. But we're not
got any walking sticks, though.
No. But I guess the difference is we're not walking far, and we're returning back to the car, and so we have this idea of where we're going back to. So compass may not be necessary, but if we were heading, you know, for a 20-mile walk,
Yeah.
it would be very easy to start walking around in circles and not quite knowing where we are.
Well, we got lost 2 weekends ago, didn't we, actually,
Yes.
on a walk, so...
Walking around Corndon Hill.
Yeah.
Corndon Hill.
Corndon, yeah.
Thank you. Right. We're walking up now, quite
steep.
It is steep, although not as steep as going up that Corndon Hill.
No.
By any means. And all around us is this granite rock, tumbled down, presumably moved from the last ice age, and just strewn in a sort of scree.
Like circle ones,
and
balanced on top of each other.
Harriet's pointing
Worn
to the
away by
tours,
weather, yeah.
which look like old walls, don't they?
Yes.
And you can see what really, I guess, is the layers of the sediment of the granite. I don't know, granite isn't a sedimentary rock, is it? But as you were saying, you can see where it's cracked and it's split, giving the illusion of what looks like a man-made wall from a distance. But I don't think it is. but it looks like some sort of old settlement really, and
Yeah.
from a distance.
Yeah.
You've got the wind blustering us quite a lot.
Yeah.
There's plenty of sheep
You're
with
lucky not having any hair
yes.
blowing all over my face.
There's plenty of sheep up here marked in pink, which is quite unusual, so that at least the farmer knows which ones his are. And there was a case in the news not too long ago where sheep were being stolen from a farmer. He got so pissed off that he started to dye them totally pink.
That's right, yes.
Or orange.
Yeah.
I think they were orange. That's right.
Yeah.
They'd been tangoed.
Yeah.
Right, we've now got lots of boulders
Climbing.
in front of us. And these are beautiful old ancient granite rock. Sizes vary from 8 foot to 4 foot, sort of long, lying down like tombstones, and others like old teeth in a giant's mouth at peculiar angles, jagged, many of them, but knurled and yet sort of rounded off by the elements over the years. As we approach the top of this wonderful tour, with the wind battering us a fair amount, I'm interested because there's so many different things to aim for. There's so many little unusual things, the old blowing houses, the stone crosses, the leats, loads of different things to investigate over the next 5 days that we're here, as well as nipping into towns like Tavistock and other places. We're just going to be clambering a little bit here.
Yeah, we are.
As the stones now are much more abundant, and we're picking our way gingerly through these massive, much larger stones, and Harriet's just in front of me clambering up. This is brilliant, isn't it? This is so different from the stiper stones.
Oh, God!
You all right?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I thought I was going for a burn.
You were
then.
teetering.
I was, sorry.
Much more different from the stiper stones, hey
quite
Harriet?
Different.
Yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
In as much as at the stiper stones you have this range of hills with the volcanic rock, the Precambrian rock, I think that is, to this old ancient granite, and the size of the stones are just enormous in comparison.
You're absolutely right.
Whereas there it's a sort of scree of rocks. Here
Yeah.
it's massive, and last left in place some several thousand or hundreds of thousands of years ago, whenever the last ice age is, which I should know, and I'm afraid I don't. I read it many times and forget it promptly.
I should know as well. I'm like, oops, I don't know.
You did geology, didn't you, at school?
Geography, yes.
Yeah. In front of us is our first Dartmoor tour that we will be able to put our hands on. I didn't bring my 35mm camera, or my digital version, my SLR, on this trip because we were carrying lots and it looked like rain, it looked like lots of heavy rain. So I have got my BlackBerry to take some pictures. She's not quite as good, but I think
You might be able to get in under there and have a
it's like a little cavette.
Yes.
And we can have a little look at the map and
Should we aim
see.
for up there?
Yes, aim for there, right in the heart of these enormous tours. When you get to them, they are quite capacious.
Much bigger than you think they're going to be.
Let's climb up here. Oh. And then here is a Leica cave. Although we may be better on the other side, out of the wind is coming straight to us.
Yes. Oh, right, let's go round then,
It's like a little secret passageway, like in that film, what was that film with the bloke stuck in the rock? 10 days or something? 2 weeks,
I never saw it.
27 hours or...
Oh yeah, you saw it, I didn't see it.
No, it must have been more than 27 hours. That's only a day, you nearly starved to death. I can't remember. Ooh, we're going to go around the other side.
Oh,
You alright?
yeah.
Here we go.
Oh, it's better.
The great news is, of course, these are not going to tumble down on us
No.
as we shelter. Here's a good shelter. Right by these ones that look like they're teetering like some megalithic tomb. In fact, it's windy wherever you go. Let's see if we can just get around this bit. The wind is blowing 360. I do feel like some explorer up on the pinnacle, and yet of course people have been exploring these for hundreds of years. Oh, you're all right round here? Here we go. Oh, we're in the shelter. And then you get a picture, you get a sense of how awesome this really is as we're on the top of this now looking north.
Isn't that lovely?
What about that? There's a valley. I mean, it does make the Long Mynd shrink.
Yeah, it does, absolutely. But we were just talking off mic, weren't we, about how I said, God, it's such a large area. And you said, yeah, 250 square miles.
Yes, I don't know exactly what the dimensions are. It is something like 6 or 7 in one direction. It's quite a narrow sort of strip, isn't it? And then it goes sort of 30 in the other. It is quite a phenomenal bit of wild land. But you can see you could lose yourself by just wandering in there and just go, oh my God. Because the tours, after a while, although they are landmarks and pinnacles, and they all have distinctive characters if you know the lie of the land.
Oh,
you all right?
having a little rest.
Oh. Right. You want a sandwich?
Yeah. You need a bit of energy.
Yes, I think
get them out.
It's a good time to eat them whilst we're sheltered. We can aim for another one.
Yes.
What we need to make sure is we know where the hell we are.
That's you, boss, today.
Thanks.
Boss man. Bossy man.
The sound of running water in a leat, a real leat, and I can tell you it's very neat. I wasn't quite sure if we would see any, but we have. I'm just going to take a very quick picture on my BlackBerry. I haven't brought my main camera. Oh, it's very difficult to do this with the hand that you're not used to doing it with. It's a man-made channel which back in the day, back in the tin days, the tin miners as such, they were panning for the stuff. Tin apparently is this fine substance that's in the water, and as you look at the colour of the water, it is a brown colour. It looks more like iron in the colour of the water, and the best way was to wash through the water, and you would get this sort of sediment that was tin, from what I understand, from what I remember from reading fairly recently. And they would dig in the channels up here on Dartmoor, all these man-made channels with little stones, granite stone walls either side, and you end up with these amazing channels of gushing water. So it was all controlled by man, and we've walked and found one just now, and it looks like, oh, I was rather hoping that was a clapper bridge, but I don't think it is. There's a big stone, or a series of stones, and a clapper bridge is where you've got a stone that crosses a leat or a small river, or a stream really. And what about the colour, Harriet?
Peaty.
Peaty?
Yeah.
It's a lovely brown colour, isn't it? An orangey brown. It's absolutely amazing.
Lovely, isn't
And I wonder if that's
quite deep, isn't it?
wonder if that's part of the tin,
Oh yeah.
because the tin's obviously still here.
Yeah, definitely.
These are the days, I believe, before they decided that they could actually mine further down, that they would do all this. Is that a clapper bridge? Don't know. I'm also looking for the remains, what they say, of an old blowing house. And I'll tell you what that is as soon as we see one. We may not be on this journey. Are you able to jump that bit? How we get back, I don't know.
Though?
Oh, we'll worry about that later. I'm going to... Oh, I nearly fell then. Hang on. Hop. Oh! There we are. We'll get back. We can jump back on there.
I can't.
No. Well, you can always wade through it.
No.
Harriet's perched on this lump of granite and she doesn't want to jump. You won't fall into the river, and I'm here to catch you.
Getting back.
Oh, we'll get back. Come on.
Say 1, 2, 3.
Right, 1, 2, 3.
Ah! I hate doing that.
It's good for your legs.
Oh, it's that jarring feeling as you land.
Right, I can't remember the name of the one that we were on though. We were sitting there having our sandwiches. Can you remember?
No.
Because the Great... Was it? No, this is Great Staple here, isn't it? I think this is Great... Oh, I can't remember. Anyway, we're heading on some more now. Coming down the valley from the last one we are, which we can see behind us. And they are massive, great landmarks, which is quite handy. I mean, without them, the hills could easily just disappear into undulating hillocks, and we would just be a pair of pillocks wandering around.
Quite
lost.
a long way to go up now.
Yes,
Find a path to go up.
Yes, I think it'll be all right. I hope it will. Otherwise, we are trapped this side of the leat.
You've got to get me back over that flipping leat.
Well, worst comes to the worst, you can go piggyback over me and I'll carry you over, like the generous man I am. Well, I'm disappointed we didn't see the remains of the blowing house, beg your pardon. It's blowing a bit. And there's a black-headed, is that a sheep or a ram? It's got horns on it.
Yes, it must be big. It's not a big ram though.
No, it's a straggly-looking ram, with its wool sort of half on, half off, again with a pink buttock. Right, well,
Where are we going?
this is straight
Down,
up.
Straight
up.
Blimey.
You'll be all right. Are you enjoying it so far?
Yes.
Are you?
Yes, thank you.
Right.
You?
Yes, I am. Thank you very much. Right, you frightened that ram now. So, we've got another one to climb, and the interesting thing about this, according to the Ordnance Survey map, is the view beyond is into restricted area, danger area, where the military are renowned for having shooting practice, and hopefully they won't be shooting at us. I don't think they will, but I've been reading what's his name, William Crossing's book on Dartmoor, which was written towards the end of the 19th century, and I have a 1912 edition. Oh, exciting. It's a reprint of the 1912 edition, to be fair, and obviously, what was that? A little bird flew out of the grass. I don't know what type of bird that was.
I knew more about them actually.
And William Crossing says that back then it was just a much smaller area. He gives an idea. It's increased a lot now, and of course.
Oh no, we've got to cross that.
Oh, there's another river here. This is a bit more like a mad
it's
stream.
all fenced off. Look.
It is. Oh,
That's
yes.
going to be the start of
there we go. Look, we need to the other side of that.
Oh yeah.
That brick wall. We'll be all right. We just cross over this way a bit.
Saying that.
Yeah. So William, what's his face? He. This might be where the blowing house is, somewhere along here near the river, because it needs to be a powerful stream to operate the wheel, and I'll tell you about that when we get there. I'm trying to tell you about William Crossing. I'm being diverted all the time. It was a smaller shooting area, basically, is what I'm saying. Edit that out, Richard, because that was all very boring.